Welcome to Business Notes. I'm your host, Diane Bogino, President of Performance Strategies and Diane Bogino Development. Our guest today is Rebecca Pierce Murray. Rebecca is a technical trainer, director, producer, and entertainer who can simplify the complex so that anyone's great-grandparent could understand and have fun while doing so. In her consulting practice, she supports leaders, speakers, and trainers whose goal is to shine on screen, on demand, or on stage. Rebecca has produced podcasts, radio spots, webinars, recorded audiobooks, and directed and edited countless video productions from 30-second TV commercials to mini documentaries. Rebecca feels strongly that anyone has the ability to be a star and has been told her ability to help people project their best on camera is her superpower. Rebecca's biggest thrill comes from teaching clients how to protect, perfect, and project a virtual image that truly reflects how they see themselves, their brand, and their organization. Rebecca, thank you for being on the show today and welcome to Business Notes.
It is my absolute pleasure to be here today with you. Thank you.
Rebecca, the first question I want to ask you is what prepared you to start your own business after the age of 50 and what were you thinking?
Yeah, prepared is probably not the word I was thinking of at the time. What I was thinking of at the time actually was I don't want to start my own business. I'd owned my own business. Essentially, when I got out of college, I stumbled into the insurance industry as an independent contractor, an agent. And I did that for a number of years before I met my husband. And then he started a plumbing company. And I thought, we can't have two people under the same roof independently, having their own businesses. I felt really unsettled about that. So I went to work. I left and I went to work for other people. And then in 2012, at the end of 2012, the company that I was working for sold out to a major manufacturer leaving me with the opportunity to still stay there in a diminished capacity. That's how I felt. And at that time, we'd already moved. We'd moved so that I was driving up to 6 hours a day to different clients. I was a dog trainer at that time. So I decided to leave, thinking that I could find a job where I lived in this small town of Mount Vernon that would still pay me commensurate with what I was making in Seattle, out of Seattle. And that was not the case, I discovered. So after a couple of months, I thought, well, I can go to work for someone for $10 an hour, or I can work for myself for $10 an hour. And that was the decision. I thought, I would rather have control if I'm not going to make a whole lot of money or a lot less money than I was used to. I would rather have control of my life. And that felt better, even though it was incredibly scary and uncertain. I took that step forward in January of 2013. So prepared? Nope. But I felt it was the right thing to do for me at that point in my life. After 50, I didn't want to be beholden to somebody anymore. I didn't want to have my future in someone else's hands. You're going to do this or that, or we're going to sell the company and just no control whatsoever. So that's really what guided my decision.
Yeah, freedom is certainly a big deal, isn't it?
A big deal. Creative control over your life.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think that it takes to be successful in business at any age?
Knowing how to connect with people. Number one, most important thing, all the technical things we can learn if we are curious and also have the confidence to believe that we can learn anything if we wish to. Certainly the resources are out there on the internet for most anything we want to learn. I already knew that. But the one thing that I had gained is, and maybe always had in me, is the ability to meet new people, to connect eye to eye, and to not be afraid to pick up the phone. And I think that's the biggest hindrance for a lot of people, is connecting like that. Like, it's much easier to just send an email and hope that somebody responds with a yes, but that's not how business gets done by and large. By and large, it's picking up the phone or going somewhere where you could meet other people face to face, not right now, of course, with COVID, but joining the Chamber of Commerce, that was the first thing that I did. Joining a women's business group was a second thing that I did. And just getting yourself out there and always protecting your personal and professional image. I mean, not many people know much about my personal life. I keep that very separate. And I also protect my image in terms of what I do online. I'm very, very careful. And I think what happens to some people is they blend those two, and maybe divulge a little too much about what's going on inside their head. Once it's out there, you can't pull it back. So being protective of yourself, but also being bold and brave enough, daring enough to, again, pick up the phone. I want to do business with you. Let's see if we can make that happen. And also getting yourself out there in these social networking opportunities.
Well put, well put. I do know that you do have part of your story online, and we may not discuss that today, but I do encourage people to go read that, because it was traumatic, but it's also quite interesting. And of course, it adds to who you are today. But you also, as a child, wrote a book. So tell us about the book that you published and what that has to do with business success today.
Yeah, so this book I found a few years ago, well, rifling through some old papers for a friend of mine, a high school friend whose house burned to the ground in 2017 in the Napa fires. So she lost everything. We had been connected since high school, and I told her, I'm going to go through everything I have, and I have a lot of stuff, yearbooks, all, pictures, things from, we were on the track team together, things that ended up in the paper. So I promised I'd go through everything. And while I was going through everything to find whatever I could ship off to her so she could at least have some things from her high school years, I found a story that I wrote in the 5th grade called The Bird and the Hippo. And reading this, I was absolutely stunned at the optimism that I had then in the 5th grade, knowing what our family was going through at the time, a horrible divorce. We lost our beautiful home. We were on welfare. We had these little tickets that we had to go and give at the cafeteria so we could get a free lunch, that kind of thing. And it was just horribly traumatic looking back on it. But what I saw is that this young girl, this 10-year-old girl, this 10-year-old version of me, didn't seem unhappy, wallowing in self-pity. What the story is about is a bird and a hippo. It takes place in Africa, and it's about their friendship. And also the big message is, when you take a wrong turn, which this little bird did, who was on his way from Germany to Hollywood, and I always have wanted to end up in Hollywood and never have. He never did either. He ended up taking a wrong turn, ending up in Africa, meeting this hippo. And every year would come back, and their relationship flourished. He gets married, he brings his wife back. They have some chicks on the hippo's back. And every year they would always come back and bring the hippo, her name is Mitty, presents. That's what they said. They always bring her presents. And the big message to me is, for me, is to allow my presence to be my present, which means being present. Now, this would be, if English was a second language for this message, this would be very difficult to understand. But let your presence be your present when we're with another person, which means we are present with that person. We're not on our phone. We're trying as much as we can to hone in on on who we're with, listen, ask questions, and have that wonderful connection. And that's always been a huge struggle for me. I still struggle with that. So for me, this book is helping me keep this top of mind. And it's a big message that I enjoy sharing now that the book is published.
It's a beautiful cover too. You
Thank
would
you.
never guess that you have trouble connecting, Rebecca, for heaven's sakes. Now, you also do some speaking and some workshops. So could you kind of give us a Cliff's Notes version of some of the topics that you speak about?
Yes, confidence is a big topic that I speak on, and that has everything to do, of course, with success in business. It sure helped me as a dog trainer, because a dog can sniff out if you're confident or not in 2 seconds. People can too. People can too. And so I speak a lot about confidence, how we build our confidence, what short circuits our confidence, and how learning that, what I call the confidence equation, can help us in our personal life, our business lives, and help us with what's going on up here. I also do some technical training. I'm in my studio. My business has to do with image mastery, marketing, videography, photography, all those sorts of things. And so now that we're all online, I've been teaching master classes on how to master your virtual image, and also to infuse engagement principles into presentations, which of course we used to do on stage and help people get away from those crazy, boring PowerPoints and learn to engage their audience in other ways. And now virtually, really, it's the same thing. The principles have never changed since Hollywood came to be. It's always about engaging the audience, thinking about the audience first. So those are the two main things that I speak to.
Yeah, good, good. Now, Rebecca, this is a kind of a marketing video for both of us, if you will. What do you, and you have a marketing company. Can you say the name of it? Because I know I'll kill it.
Skagit Media Marketing.
Thank you. But what do you think is the biggest mistake that people make, business people especially, make in marketing?
Well, I'll tell you, in the videography business specifically, is a lot of business people think all I need to do is spend a lot of money, make this amazing video, and that's it. Put it on YouTube and I'm done. It is not about the amazing video. It is about thinking about which audience, your audience first, how they take, how they receive information, where they receive it, what message it is, and how you're going to make sure that they have access to it and can assimilate it on whatever device or whatever platform they would find you, and to give your video a home on your website and to drive people there first and foremost. So a lot of people spend thousands of dollars making a fabulous video, and yet 10 people watch it. Such a waste of money. And so for me, when somebody asks me to help them with video marketing, I say, okay, in 60 seconds or less, if someone were to spend 60 seconds watching a video, what would you want them to think, do, or feel after that 60 seconds? And that's going to guide us in what we do. Let me find out who your clients are, what devices they use. Do you know the answers to these questions? Let's find out. So it's all that basic marketing stuff first, and then the video is like one teeny tiny little piece of what you might share with a client, but you have to have your objective clear first. What do you want them to think, do, or feel after spending 60 seconds with you?
All right. And you have some great videos on your website. So I would encourage people to look at those too, the characters that you play. You are absolutely a frustrated actress. I love it.
Yeah, I am.
So, Rebecca, how have you dealt with mistakes that you've made in business? Of course, I've never made any. But what have those mistakes allowed you to discover?
Well, when I started this business, I knew that I wanted to be in the video business, which was a hard left turn from the dog training business, but I had done a little bit of videography and photography in that business, because of course we all know how fun it is to see great pictures of pets and how they touch our hearts, um, and what a powerful tool video is. And so I decided, okay, that's the business I want to go into, but I didn't know anything. I knew very little about editing. I had one teeny tiny little camera. I didn't even know the lens could come off and you could put other lenses on. I mean, that's how little I knew. But what I did know is that I'm capable of learning. I'm capable of meeting people. I'm capable of getting somebody to finding somebody who needs my services, even though I don't have to tell them how little I know. I just have to have the confidence to know that I can figure it out. And that's what I did. Is I started going to nonprofits and saying, hey, you need some videos, right? I can do it at a very low cost for you because I don't really know very much. I don't want to charge somebody a lot for what I could do then, because I know it wouldn't be very good. But to know that for every mistake that I make, every single mistake that I make, I'm learning something new. It's taking me to a new level. So my thing back then, that was almost, 8 years ago now, I would say I'd make a crazy mistake. I'd look at my footage and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to do that again. Okay, only 99, I'd say I have to make 1 million mistakes to really learn this business. Okay, I'm down to 998,000 right now. And I'm going to keep ticking down, ticking down, ticking down, ticking down. So mistakes, I know, help me grow. They help me learn. They take me to a new place. That is totally how I look at mistakes.
Great, great advice. Rebecca, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
I would say email. Well, if you just go to either of my websites, skagitmediamarketing.com or RebeccaPMurray.com, there's phone numbers there, which I always love a phone call. And there's also a form to fill out in which I will respond immediately. And people are always surprised at how quickly, like, whoa, I just finished sending off that form and you're already here on the phone. I really want to connect with people, hear their voice, and get to know them a little bit by phone. I'm a big phone person.
Okay, great, great. Well, Rebecca, you have taught some people some good lessons today about starting a business and not being afraid of mistakes and diving in and continuing to learn as we grow our businesses. And I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you. And I appreciate you are such a good interviewer. It's a skill that I would like to learn. So I'm going to take some time to watch the other videos that you have on your channel and just learn from you and your skills as an interviewer. You're fabulous.
Oh my goodness, thank you. I'll put the check in the mail this afternoon. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Diane.
Thank you for watching Business Notes. We've been speaking with Rebecca Pierce Murray, technical trainer, director, producer, and entertainer. I'm your host, Diane Bogino, bringing you business ideas you can bank on.